Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post. Bud Light effect. Jaguar ruins brand. Eliminates iconic leaping cat logo. What do these companies not understand? It's not as if this ever worked before, that if you get a bunch of binary people or people with different genders together and you associate your brand with it, that all of a sudden it's going to equal sales. It doesn't equal sales. Brands are very important to people. Companies spend a lot of money and usually several years developing a brand where people know, okay, if you experience this brand, if you buy into this brand, you're going to be associated with it. A car that's a car luxury brand associating with this new ridiculous commercial from Jaguar doesn't do anything for the brand, and it doesn't do anything for the people associating with the brand. What message are we supposed to send by driving a Jaguar now? And what happens to the people who own Jaguars? They're automatically associated with this. They didn't buy it a month from now. They bought it already, maybe a couple of years ago, maybe several years ago. What happens to Jaguar dealers? They have a whole inventory. Each one of these dealers is a multi-million-dollar business because they've got a lot invested in inventory and advertising locally. How are they supposed to associate themselves with this new ridiculous debacle? What's the value of a Jaguar now? What's the value of a Jaguar dealership? What's the value of your own used Jaguar? Even used car dealers that have Jaguar inventories, they're now associated with this complete destruction of the brand. A brand is always a promise, and if you abuse your relationship with a customer and you don't deliver what you promised, you're going to damage everyone involved in the transaction. Even people that bought the car and were satisfied with it a couple of years ago. Now they have to deal with being mocked just for driving a Jaguar. At least when it came to Bud Light, it's not like people are going to come after you because you're reusing a Bud Light that you bought last week or a couple of weeks ago. There are people that did go and throw away their Bud Lights that they bought at the store. Some people did it online in videos. But it's not like this. It's not like a major investment in your personal vehicle that now these guys have gone and rebranded into something that may not fit into your personal lifestyle. And if you're like most people, it does not fit into your personal lifestyle. Coming from Newsweek, Jaguar rebrand called disastrous as focus on diversity comes under fire. And from The Guardian, could bad publicity be good for Jaguar? No, it actually can't be good for Jaguar. It could get a lot of attention to Jaguar, but attention is not necessarily something that you can turn into money. If you've got something that people will look at and say, oh, I want this, then sure, sometimes you can work it out that any publicity is good publicity, but this is not good publicity. This is an extremely negative association that now it would take an immense amount of effort and money to try to reassociate. It's like the Bud Light situation in that you can't reassociate it in a positive light, no matter how much money you spend. That's why Anheuser-Busch has really aggressively cut back on the money they're spending on Bud Light because they know it's hopeless now. The reassociation of the brand is permanent and it's in the culture. You can't change it. And from the Financial Times, Jaguar boss defends bold rebranding after backlash over video. Ron Glover says message of promotional clip that features no cars has been lost in a blaze of intolerance online. Yeah, maybe it's intolerant. Maybe people just don't want to be associated with it. But if I'm trying to sell you something, I'm trying to present value to you. I'm trying to show you how I can solve your problem. Whether it's like a utilitarian purpose where I'm giving you a tool you can directly use to improve your life, or whether I'm giving you a positive association of like, hey, you've got the money to buy this cool product with this cool brand. A lot of other people who have money own this product. It's a luxury brand. And that's what I'm doing for you as a customer. Jaguar is now actually doing the opposite of providing value. They are creating a situation where value is coming away from whatever was established before this new advertising and this new rebranding came out. The rebranding can't be fixed. It's a complete disaster. And from Forbes, what executives can learn from Jaguar's new rebranding campaign? The boss of Jaguar has defended its bold rebranding after a backlash to a new corporate logo and promotional video that did not feature cars. saying its message had been lost in a blaze of intolerance online. Did you think that just because you ran these completely crazy advertisements that for some reason that would make people, quote, tolerant or accept their new identity as presented to you by Jaguar? Jaguar is going to decide how binary or non-binary your own personal gender is supposed to be? That's intolerant? No. When you place ads and you do marketing programs, you try to get people interested in what it is that you are trying to sell to them. You have to present the value to them. They're not supposed to accept the new identity that you're trying to associate them with. That has never been advertising. That has never been marketing. If you present something compelling and it works with test audiences who are in your market, in your target market, that's great. Then you've come up with something people are interested in associating themselves with. It's not intolerant because you don't want to be associated with the identity presented in your product. Especially if you're saying, I want you to spend a lot of money on this product. You can be associated with it, and now this is you. I'm sorry, that's not going to work. You have to be sure people want to be associated with and identified by whatever it is you're presenting. This was the original Jaguar logo. The leaping iconic cat. They took that away. They don't have that. If you go to their website, you see this. It's not even clearly a car. It's not a Jaguar. It's not a classic Jaguar. It's not a leaping cat. It's not even this crazy person identified in this red outfit with this crazy haircut. You don't even get that. You get, I don't even know what this is. Is that supposed to be a car? Is that a robot? I don't know. Is it a vacuum cleaner? What is that item? I don't know. That's what you're associating with when you invest in Jaguar. Obviously, they want to sell cars, but something is more important to them than selling cars because I can't imagine anyone there really legitimately thought this could ever work. But again, if you're an auto dealer, if you're part of their dealer network, how would you feel about something like this? They've completely blown up your business. Jaguar Land Rover, the luxury UK car maker owned by India's Tata Motors, this week posted a 30-second clip on Twitter and Instagram that featured models dressed in brightly colored outfits to unveil a new company logo that did not feature the iconic leaper big cat. The Jaguar campaign drew more than 160 million views on social media, but also the ire of some car enthusiasts, activists, and influencers who were angry that the 90-year-old brand was going woke and throwing away heritage. Jaguar Managing Director Rawdon Glover, and in the UK they love to use managing directors as titles, it's like equivalent to a CEO here in the United States. And he said, playing the victim in an interview with the Financial Times, that the intended message was lost in a blaze of intolerance. Quote, if we play in the same way that everybody else does, we'll just get drowned out. So we shouldn't turn up like an auto brand, according to Glover. We need to reestablish our brand and act at a completely different price point, so we need to act differently. We wanted to move away from traditional automotive stereotypes. We're going to move so far away from traditional automotive stereotypes that we're going to ask you to accept a new gender identity. Perhaps you hadn't been thinking about being binary, but now you're binary or non-binary. We're going to have you think about that. Now, and in addition to that, we're going to have you not worry about a car. We're going to have you think about your identity and trying to get more on board with just being different. That's what this guy is pushing. He went on to say that while the overall buzz of the new campaign had been very positive, he was disappointed by the level of vile hatred and intolerance in the comments regarding the individuals that appeared in the video. Look, the individuals that appeared in the video, they're all people. If they want to run around and do this, maybe they're not even normally like this. Maybe they're just regular guys and girls hanging out, living normal lives, and they put on these crazy outfits for a job. Who knows what the people in the video are all like? Who cares what they're like? But they don't represent anyone who's going to want to go buy a car, certainly not more than just a few people in the world, and that's what makes this so ridiculous. It doesn't even serve any business purpose. The teaser ad was meant to be the start of a crucial promotional campaign to revive the ailing Jaguar brand, but the promotion unexpectedly stumbled ahead of the unveiling of its new electric GT model at the Miami Art Week next month. It's part of a broader rebranding that also involved replacing the leaper from the front of its car with a double J logo, although the big cat still appears with a new strike-through look on a different part of the vehicle. Yeah, just make sure that you get rid of the Jaguar on the front of the car because The people who've been buying these for years and collecting these things and identify this leaper cat as part of why they think Jaguars are cool and part of why they think cars are cool. Just get rid of that, because who wants that? Only the people who've actually been buying the vehicles. That's who. Some advertising executives expressed shock that a heritage company had embraced such a radical makeover. Quote, "You can destroy a brand in 30 seconds that took a lifetime to build," said one senior advertising executive who'd worked with the Jaguar brand. Quote, "Strong brands reinvent themselves, but always remain true to the core of their DNA. For luxury brands in particular, authenticity is key, and this fails the test." How could the managing director at Jaguar have been so surprised when this result happened? Did he do any tests? Are there tests that he could show that would say, look, we showed this to thousands of people. They gave us great feedback. We don't even understand this. No, you didn't. And of course they didn't. They just went off on this crazy direction. James Ramsden, executive creative director of Coley Porter Bell, the branding and design agency, said, "Well, this work is striking, colorful, inclusive, and dramatic, though it's a shame they walked away from some of the iconic, much-loved, and beautiful icons that have been in the brand DNA for generations." Spoken like someone who politically is just trying to be cool with the company, so maybe they'll write him a check. And that's not a bad thing, because they do need to change their advertising agency 100%. Elon Musk, the billionaire chief executive of Twitter, who often uses his prominent profile to wade into culture war issues, shared the ad with his 205 million followers asking, quote, "Do you sell cars?" Jaguar is the latest company to face a consumer backlash over its decision to move away from its well-established brand heritage in an attempt to try to find a new, younger audience. Sales in Bud Light plummeted last year after a transgender influencer, Dylan Mulvaney, was used in a social media promotion. A very small social media promotion, but an iconic one nonetheless. One where they took Dylan Mulvaney's face, put it on a Bud Light can, not for distribution, just for the ad itself, and took weeks to respond that that can was not going to be the new face of Bud Light. They didn't communicate with their customers. And as a result, all the customers assumed, yeah, you're going to try and make Dylan Mulvaney like the it girl on your can or something like that. What are you doing here? And they paid the price. The sales were destroyed. And Bud Light went from the number 1 brand to the number 3 brand, which is a much lower position. They also are not even available in taps in many places anymore. They lost about 40% of their distribution overall. It was a disaster. In another example of total insensitivity to your customer base, Apple iPad advertisements showing musical instruments, cameras, and artwork being crushed by a giant hydraulic press also provoked outrage among customers over the level of destruction. Apple made a rare apology and pulled the ads. Advertising executives said Jaguar's new branding already felt outdated, noting recent industry efforts to focus more on driving sales using established brand principles and a move away from campaigns seen as woke or worthy. As in, it's a worthy cause just to promote multiple genders through your consumer products. No, it's not, and it doesn't work. Automotive industry leaders also said the rebrand was a significant gamble. Their new luxury electric models that will come out next year will be priced well above $100,000, more than 2 times its existing offerings. And yes, it's really £100,000, but that's certainly more than $100,000. As it completes a shift to electric vehicles, the company has stopped selling new cars in the UK and mostly ended production of its gasoline-powered models. Jaguar executives say the company wants to target a younger and wealthier customer and recreate its image as a pure luxury brand rather than as a legacy automotive brand. Well, that might explain why if you go to their website, you can't even really tell what their product is. Maybe it's an air conditioner. I don't know. Maybe they're going to make air conditioners. Maybe they think they really can just be a luxury brand and not just make electric cars. Whatever they're doing, it's the wrong thing. We're not going to see Jaguars in a couple of years. Well, this is not a depiction of how we think our future customers are, according to Glover. We don't want to necessarily leave all our customers behind, but we do need to attract a new customer base. You need to attract more customers, yes, but you need to figure out, of course, how not to destroy your existing customer base, how not to make people feel Like if you bought a Jaguar within the last 90 years, you made a tragic mistake because now you're part of whatever this new cult is. That isn't what they sold you. That isn't what they promoted to you when you initially bought the car. If you're a car dealer, can you sue the company? You should be able to sue the company. This is not how they told you it would be when you made the investment to set up a Jaguar dealership. Coming from Forbes, what executives can learn from Jaguar's new rebranding campaign. Rebranding campaigns are meant to generate favorable awareness and positive press coverage about products. But in the case of Jaguar, its efforts this week to rebrand the iconic British car created the wrong kind of attention, including a headline-making controversy, criticism, and detractors. Quote, a promotional video for a rebrand of British luxury car brand Jaguar is being criticized online for showing models in brightly colored outfits and no car, according to the Associated Press. It drew ire online with people complaining about a lack of a car and a confusing message. Jaguar is defending their rebranding. Quote, our brand relaunch for Jaguar is a bold and imaginative reinvention, and as expected, it attracted attention and debate, according to Jaguar spokesperson. He went on to say the company preserved iconic symbols while taking a dramatic leap forward and said the company will share more of Jaguar's transformation in the coming days and weeks. Oh, we can't wait to see it. Other brand and public relation experts weighed in about the company's rebranding crisis and how it and other businesses can recover from or avoid a similar situation. Quote, from a branding perspective, the rebrand feels like a misstep. The video featuring androgynous models in gender-neutral or gender-bending attire risks alienating traditional customers in a climate where numerous brands have recently faced backlash for their perceived political stances, according to the owner of Tailgate Branding. Quote, more importantly, the campaign appears disconnected from the very traits Jaguar spent decades building. Gone are the understated elegance, performance nods, and any clear connection to British heritage. For a car company to launch a rebrand video without a single reference to its cars, its core product, is simply mind-boggling, he pointed out. Rebranding efforts should not stray from what people believe or are comfortable with. Again, if you go to their website, you can't even tell they're selling cars. They have a picture of something that looks like some kind of a grate or something like that. Is that part of a car? We'll never know. Quote, the ad was bold and seems to be at first glance parallel to what failed Anheuser-Busch and the marketing of its Bud Light line, in that the ad is far removed from what the majority of its consumer base likely believes. Culturally, it's dangerous to operate on the fringes of socially accepted norms, according to a risk and reputation specialist. Quote, when a rebrand gives the consumer whiplash, it can either be a nice unexpected surprise like a roller coaster, or it can be a trip to the ER, according to a brand strategist and founder of Motif Brands. In an effort to stand out from the competition, it is possible to try too hard. Quote, unfortunately, it appears Jaguar went too far in an attempt to be bold. The rebrand has created a crisis because they have successfully denounced what the brand has become known for and respected. This challenge is hard for human beings because it's a redefining moment where they have thrown out the pre-existing meaning assigned to the perception of the automaker and then told the same audience a new meaning that lacks substance and appears to be progress for the sake of progress. There is one way that these big companies learn about their rebranding efforts, how successful they will be, how successful they can be, and that's by to try crazy things like this out. They tried it out. Now they're seeing the response. They have more things they want to introduce. They haven't been able to focus on offering their new electric model that probably nobody was going to buy anyway. But as these companies try and fail, they get the results they need to understand if you keep going in this direction, you will lose all of your customers and your stock will lose value. Same happened to Disney. Same happened to the Anheuser-Busch people with Bud Light. The same thing happened to Target. They still haven't recovered. And as these companies need to go through these iterations, they need to go through these processes to determine, okay, yeah, we actually have to focus on our customers and give our customers more of what they're looking for, even if that's not something we want to produce, they start to learn their lessons. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.